I asked 45,000 people what the best superhero movie of the decade so far was, meaning from the year 2020 to now, and the results are absolutely insane, so we gotta fix this. Looking at the results of the poll, you can see that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 came in last place with only 9% of the votes, then in third place was The Batman with 19%, Spider-Man No Way Home in second place with 24% of the votes, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse with 47% of the votes. But in my fixed ranking of this, I'm moving Spider-Man No Way Home to last place on the list. Now listen, I still think this is an amazing movie that was a once-in-a-lifetime theater experience, but the competition is too strong and this movie has way too many problems with it to be any higher on the list. And it mostly has to do with the first hour of this movie because I've realized it's not very good. Like everything with Doctor Strange is just unbearable. Benedict Cumberbatch is absolutely phoning it in this movie. Some of his line delivery and the lines written for him is just absolutely terrible. But once we get to the point of the movie where Aunt May dies, everything from that moment on in the film is actually really incredible and still holds up on rewatches for me. I just feel like it takes way too long to actually get into the good stuff, and it can't be any higher when half the movie isn't that great. I can't lie, seeing all three Spider-Man work together and team up, it was magical the first time and it still holds up every time. I just wish the first hour of this movie was a little bit better. So now that Spider-Man No Way Home is in last place, that begs the question, what comes next? So I'm gonna move Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 from last place to third in this poll, replacing The Batman. I just simply think this is a better movie from start to finish than Spider-Man No Way Home. James Gunn has absolutely mastered these characters and how to have us actually feel the emotions they're feeling. He also manages to keep the humor in this film without having it undercut any of the more emotional moments, which is something the MCU really struggles to do, but James Gunn has mastered it. Getting to focus a lot more on Rocket and his backstory was just so heartbreaking and genuinely one of the best moments in the MCU, a lot of his different flashbacks with the other animals. And the High Evolutionary is an incredible villain. Now we're down to the Batman versus Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which I think is a lot closer of a duel than a lot of people are thinking. Because while these films are vastly different in tone, they share a lot of the same elements that make them both 10 out of 10 movies in my opinion. They're both absolutely gorgeous to look at. Like the cinematography in the Batman is just stunning. The animation and use of colors in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is just as good, if not even better looking. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse does an amazing job at diving into the character of Miles and the struggle between him being Spider-Man and Miles Morales, and the core of the entire story is his relationship with Gwen. Whereas the Batman has the same thing. It's the struggle between being Bruce Wayne and Batman, how that destroys everything around him pretty much. In the core of this story, instead of being more of a romance, while the elements are there, it is a detective story at heart, which has always been my favorite part of Batman, and I'm so glad this movie focused in on it. They both have amazing antagonists and villains too. Like the Batman gives us Colin Farrell as the Penguin, which is just such a perfect casting, and the Riddler is just a bone-chilling villain. And we get Oscar Isaac voicing Spider-Man 2099, who's just such a cool and interesting character that I can't wait to learn more about, and the Spot that is set up to become one of the greatest Marvel villains we've ever seen in a movie in Beyond the Spider-Verse. Now make sure to comment your ranking of these 4 movies in the comments below, and follow me on Letterboxd at Vets Movies. The link is in the description below. But ultimately, I'm going to settle on the Batman at number 2 and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse at number 1.